It's Wednesday night.
The New York Theater Barn
is live!
I see color for the first time. Finally, I can feel the sunshine. My heart's singing for the first time. Baby, is this love? I see color for the first time. Finally, I can feel the sunshine. My heart's singing for the first time. Is this love?
Good evening and welcome to New York Theater Barn's New Work Series Live. I'm Joe Barros and I'm the Artistic Director.
And I am Jen Sandler and I'm the Associate Artistic Director. And we are so happy to bring you art during this trying, eventful, I don't even know what to call it, time, but we are here while our country is figuring it out, and we're so happy to bring you theater tonight. Tonight, we are excited to present excerpts from the new musicals Ramona and Johnny and the Devil's Box.
Ramona is the new musical from Nevada Lozano and based on the classic novel by Helen Hunt Jackson. And Johnny and the Devil's Box is the new musical from Douglas Waterbury Tiemann. Both shows were previously featured in our live New Work series before the pandemic, and we're excited to lift up these extraordinary original musicals once again.
Absolutely. Remember when we did things in person?
I do. I remember how amazing it was to see Douglas and his entire team, his muse, his band of musicians, his famous guest star musician. It was really exciting.
Yes. So welcome to our 13th season of our New Work series and the 29th. We're so close to 30 installment of our virtual series since March. And we know I love saying this, with all of our virtual programming combined, we've presented 60 new musicals, lifted up the work of 103 writers, and made space for over 250 artists. And like every week, we are simulcasting to Broadway On Demand, and we thank Broadway On Demand for being great partners since June.
That's right. And we are still on a high from last Monday's historic choreography lab at Broadway Dance Center, with actors performing live together in the space to a virtual audience.
Yes, emerging choreographers Twan Malinowski worked to create stunning choreography from Ben Kaplan's I Don't Want to Talk About It, and the amazing Kristen Yancy brought magic to Jesse Sanchez and Jeff Chambers' Sueños, Our American Musical.
Yeah, each of New York Theater Barn's labs have always been very intimate, with an audience of about 50 people. And this is how things have been for 7 seasons of a program that creates opportunities for writers and choreographers to collaborate on movement for new musicals during incubation. And last Monday's presentation has now been viewed nearly 1,100 times by our global audience. So it's very, very exciting. Sometimes limitation is creation, and magic can happen in the darkest of times. And like you said, tonight's new musicals are a testament to that. Last week, we gave you a look at Kristen Yancy's beautiful take on Sueños in the lab. This week, we'd like to bring you Twan Malinowski's collaboration with Ben Kaplan on I Don't Want to Talk About It. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Josh Bergas, and I mentored Twan on tonight's choreography lab presentation. It was a real honor to do this. I think it's really important for directors and writers and producers to start thinking about choreography earlier in their process and adding choreographers earlier to their process, so that dance can be a part of the storytelling vocabulary as opposed to an afterthought. I was thrilled when New York Theater Barn asked me to be part of this program. Sharing my philosophies with him was really interesting, because I realized I had forgotten some of them, and now I'm reminded of them, and I can bring them into my work moving forward again. It's really a great program, and I'm so proud to be a part of it, and so happy for Twan.
life's a lot, you're feeling down, find it hard to get around. You need a boost to help you never feel. Hey, looky here, over here, fuck is here! It's your friend, the stimulant. I'm here to raise your spirits and your blood pressure and heart rate. Cause I've got the stuff to ease your body, mind, soul, and hell, maybe a few other things. Yes, cake. I could eat a whole cake by myself. You should trust us. Don't you trust us? Trust in us. We're your friends. We're pills.
I wanted to clap all over again watching that. I feel so true, like blown away by the work that Kristen and Tuan have created, and just to know them now, and especially during these unprecedented times. And I'm just so happy that they're part of the New York Theater Barn fold now, and I can't wait to collaborate with them again. And speaking of Kristen, here to tell us more about how you can help New York Theater Barn right now is Kristen Yancy. Take a look.
Hello, my name is Kristen Yancy, and I'm coming to you from my home in New York City. Last week, I was so honored to be a part of New York Theater Barn's historic choreography lab. As a choreographer, it is my job to tell important and meaningful stories through movement. I was thrilled to be paired with Jesse Sanchez and Jeff Chambers' Sueños, Our American Musical, bringing the show to life with musical staging for the very first time ever. I was even more thrilled to have the force that is the great Maria Torres along with me for the ride as my mentor. The experience is one that I am extremely grateful for, especially during a global pandemic. We can safely create together. It is possible. So much is possible. Our work is fundamental, and we are essential. The NYTV family is excited about tonight's original culture-shifting musicals, Ramona and Johnny and the Devil's Box. The company is proud to lift up the work of Nevada Lozano and Douglas Waterbury-Teenan. New York Theater Barn is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, and your gift tonight is tax-deductible. Thank you for supporting live theater and the development of original musicals. Enjoy the show.
Oh, I just love that song that was underscoring that. That's My Big Brown Eyes from Sueños.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kristen. We are thankful for you and your powerful and original voice as an artist.
Absolutely. Well, last week's new work series featured the new musicals Little Duende and The Clearwaters. And here is a clip from last week's presentation of Little Duende. Take a look.
Dreams drift, howling in the night as they wander out of sight.
I wanted to write a Mexican musical, and I wanted to see more representation of Latinx actors on stage. That was a big, big thing. And I started asking around, and somebody said, you must email Kirkina Escobar. You have to. It's right up her alley. She loves this. So I did, and I'm so happy that she said yes. This love for the fairy tale way of storytelling and almost post-apocalyptic kind of stuff. So we kind of like in sync there. This lullaby to me and to the show speaks to like the power of song and love between a mother and child that will forever connect them no matter how far apart they are.
I'll never forget the day when I looked into your eyes. Mi amor.
And to me, when he shared the music with me, I mean, the writing kind of just came to life. It is very, very Mexican in that way. Because one of the things we really wanted to investigate was the question of like, you know, or burst the bubble, the myth bubble of like the immigrant journey being from worse to better, and really question like, but better for whom? And I'm here in El Paso in the border, seeing those dynamics play out, where we have the tool passports, but right around the corner we have kids in cages. So here is Adelita trying to figure out, you know, does she follow this journey north? or does she follow her own path?
I stand on this land. Please give me strength with your light. Stars burn bright on this endless
God, I'm already thinking about again.
So exciting, and I love how Hector Flores, our video editor, layered in all that music. It was just and chose those clips. It was so perfect. And I'm also working at New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts right now, teaching a class all about the development of new musicals. And my students went nuts for this material when I played it for them over the past few days. So
As they should.
we're hoping to be able to work on both of those songs, which is great.
Lucky students.
That's right. And here's a clip from last week's presentation of the Clearwaters. Take a look.
Yeah, I wanna fix rockets, fix them good, so they can fly and fly and fly to anywhere. But how does a girl like me get all the way there?
About a real news story about a woman who, went to high school in her daughter's place.
Yeah, we got really excited about telling a new kind of female empowerment story and sort of our attempt to level the playing field for female anti-heroes in musical theater, because male protagonists in musicals, of course, have long been allowed to be flawed and really morally complex. But women have rarely been afforded that opportunity. We felt, especially in musical comedy and a dark comedy, which is what we wanted to write. And so we wanted our character, the mom, Bethany, to be an attempt to change that, who would have to, as Daniel said, build their own perfect world because the system that they were born into, they just could not get out of. And so it became more complicated because it's a story of a mother and daughter. And really,
Don't know where I'm headed, but it's gonna be that far. I'm hitting the road. As soon as mom gets home with the car, I'm an adult, I have a plan.
So when we meet Bethany in this song, she has just spent her first morning at high school posing as her daughter.
See, no one wants a carefree teenage girl who makes one mistake one day, who gets pregnant at 16, drops out of school and runs away, who suddenly disappears in trouble, in sweat, in tears. Oh, where is a girl like that in 15 years? She's not fixing rockets, and I want to fix rockets. I want to fix rockets.
I never thought about the sort of Freaky Friday parallel.
Kind of, yeah. I just think the best thing about last week is, we kind of had this happy accident where both shows were about like mother and daughter relationships, and we didn't realize it until we were like on air that it was like a parallel thing, and it was so great.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, now let's get started with tonight's programming. Our first musical tonight is Ramona, which has music and lyrics by Nevada Lozano.
Based on the classic novel by Helen Hunt Jackson, Ramona tells the story of an orphan girl growing up on a Mexican hacienda in Southern California in the 1850s. She falls in love with a Native American ranchero, and together they journey across the new U.S. state in search of a place to call home. With a blend of American, Native American, and Mexican musical styles, Ramona is an epic love story set during one of the most violent, tumultuous times in American history.
Sounds like right now, honestly.
It does.
And now joining us from his home in Hell's Kitchen is Nevada Lozano.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Jen. How's it going?
Hello. We were just saying before places Nevada, and Scott Wasserman said in the chat, said the Electoral College.
I know, it all comes down to Nevada, doesn't it?
The irony of Nevada today. Everything's coming up Nevada.
I see my name on Facebook. Everybody's posting about me. It's crazy.
And what's pretty wild is the three of us are actually in Hell's Kitchen. In fact, Nevada is down the street from me. Jen is down the street the other way. And as I was hearing the siren coming from Jen's house, it had just passed me like moments before.
Just went down the block.
Well, let's dive in. So, Nevada, you are a musical theater composer and lyricist, as well as a professional music director, arranger, orchestrator, and pianist. What a mouthful. In the past 2 seasons, you've had the pleasure of being a part of the music teams of The Sound Inside, Seawall A Life in Oklahoma, among many other projects off-Broadway and regionally. You're also a proud member of the BMI Lehman Engel Musical Theater Workshop and received their Jerry Harrington Award for Outstanding Creative Achievement in 2018. And
I've got it right here, actually.
You always like your obituary speeches, like your lifetime.
Well, we like to lift you up because we think you're special. And I first became familiar with you as an artist when you reached out to me to tell me about your new musical that's centered around the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, a musical called Hot Diggity.
I've come far, I would think, going from writing about a hot dog eating contest to writing about, political turmoil in Southern California in the 1850s.
Totally, but I think that, I totally recognize that you were a really promising musical theater voice on the musical theater scene, and that you were writing really interesting stories with a really sophisticated songwriting approach to them. I also wanted to note that we also got to collaborate on a few projects with you as music director, and you're fantastic. As we mentioned, Ramona was previously featured in our February 2019 Newark series at the Darrell Roth Theater, where the series began 13 years ago. So here's a clip from that first public presentation of Ramona. Take a look.
California, magnificent and vast. Now the air is alive with its jubilant theme, with a dream to pursue. You'll end up just as filthy and poor as your mother was suspected to be.
I started clapping at the end, like I was there.
Exciting. When I left, I thought, oh, wow, Giant and the Light in the Piazza had a baby.
Ooh.
And I heard all those great singers again, too.
Yeah, they were great. And I love the Tarantella with Alba Ponce de Leon singing to Ramona. And I love watching you sort of dance to it backstage a moment ago.
I'm sure you were imagining that. I'm sure it wasn't actual.
Well, I started dancing and then I looked over and I thought, well, yeah, of course. How can you help it? So, Nevada, in addition to your work as a skilled musician, when did you discover that you were a writer?
Oh, man, it happened gradually. I started taking piano lessons in 2nd grade. And then only a couple years after that, I started putting my own melodies together. And my interests kind of changed focus as I was growing up. So I remember getting really into like Danny Elfman and film music and wanting to write that kind of music. And then kind of inexplicably, I turned into like ragtime, and I was obsessed with ragtime for a couple years. And then early on in college, I started reading plays and really getting into musicals. And that's been my obsession ever since.
Wow. So this show, Ramona, what led you to want to adapt Helen Hunt Jackson's classic novel that so much is about female empowerment with a strong female protagonist? Why this show?
The novel just swept me up, it's an epic story. It's an epic romance. And at first I thought, oh, this is not the kind of show I'd ever really want to write. I thought it was too cynical or my sense of humor too sardonic. But by chapter 2, I was completely swept up in the story, and it didn't let me go.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the show's development. We do know that the show was featured in our New York series in February of 2019, and that your producer is Mr. John Albert Harris.
Good friend and good producer, John Albert Harris, who you'll see helped me put these videos together. So that's his work that produced these videos tonight. And lots of what I do, it passes through him first before it enters the outside world.
We want to shout out him. I'm pretty sure he's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really wonderful artist and collaborator. I've really enjoyed working with him a few times as well.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the show's development goes, I started writing it when I was in the first year of the BMI musical theater workshop. And then I continued writing that throughout the second year. And that's the year where you get to work on a full-length project. So I got to showcase a lot of the songs during that year. And then, of course, the pre-premiere in February of 2019. And since then, I've been fortunate enough to get some writing residencies, some that happened earlier this year, KHN Center for the Arts in Nebraska, Rush Creek in Wyoming, and then coming up, I've got one at Yaddo, hopefully early next year. It depends on when, COVID settles down and they're able to schedule everybody.
Sure, that sounds awesome. Tell us about our first epic song tonight.
Our first
epic singer.
Yes, with an epic singer, fantastic singer. It's called Donde la Tierra Toca el Cielo, which is where the earth touches the sky. And it's sung by Shireen Pimentel, who we're very, very excited to have tonight. And it's Ramona's I Want song. It comes fairly early in the show, and it happens right after Ramona asks her guardian, Senora Moreno, about her biological parents, whom Ramona knows nothing about. And the Senora keeps withholding any information she knows about Ramona's biological parents. And so after she gets scolded in like Disney princess fashion, Ramona retreats to a stream at the edge of the hacienda and looks longingly at the water and contemplates running away.
Don't we all, honestly? So here is the amazing Shireen Pimentel for Donde la Tierra.
La señora, she never answers the question. There on her face, the suggestion of disgust, reminding me I'm just a child. An orphan someone brought her. Por ahora, I try to picture my mother and wonder if by another gentle stream she likes to sit and dream about her daughter. I've waited for the answers to appear, explaining my existence. But now I know the answers aren't here. They're somewhere in the distance. They're in the mountains and the fountains of a busy city street. They're in the middle of the little line where earth and heaven meet. Donde la tierra toca el cielo, allá encontraré la casa que anhelo. I've got the strength I need, the wind for speed, the yellow sun for warmth, and all the heavens for sleeping under. A flash of lightning, a crack of thunder, and then a donde fue Ramona, they will wonder. And I'll be standing by my mother, breathing in the mountain air, donde la tierra toca el cielo. never live beyond their means, as long as there are beans to share and animals to slaughter. Los granjeros, there isn't much that they long for. They seem to think that it's wrong for me to stray, to want to drift away upon the water. They tell me home is on this piece of land, al pie de este monte. But none of them will ever understand. Está en el horizonte, it's in the valley where the California sun can never reach. En una via o capilla where Franciscan fathers preach. And when I get there, what will I see? A woman, strands of silver in her hair, waiting for me. Is she alive? There's no way to know, unless, of course, I steal a horse and go. Toca el cielo, allá encontraré la casa que anhelo. I've got the strength I need, the wind for speed, the yellow sun for warmth, and all the heavens for sleeping under. A flash of lightning, a crack of thunder, and then on donde fue Ramona they will wonder. And I'll be going places no one here would ever even dare. Donde la tierra toca el cielo.
Yes. Someone just said on our private chat, bring it home, girl. I agree.
That is a 5-minute song, and I could watch that energy forever. Amazing. Thank you.
She was wonderful. I'm so
She's
glad
amazing.
you got to
Yeah, I
work with
felt
her.
very lucky when she said yes, and obviously she did an amazing job.
Yeah, and for those who don't know her, she is playing Maria in West Side Story on Broadway, and she was simultaneously attending Juilliard. I guess she still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can also see her if you're a John Mulaney fan. She's on the Sacklech bench.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
by our
right.
friend Eli Bolin.
All right. Well, New York Theater Barn favorite Amanda Robles is singing the next song. She was also in the presentation in February of 2019 and was recently in our developmental production of Love and Yogurt.
You want to set up this song?
Sure, absolutely. So this song is sung by a much more worldly experienced character, you could say. So it's sung by Margarita, who is a maid at the Rancho Moreno where Ramona lives. And she sings it to this guy, Alessandro, who is the Native American ranchero who comes to work there for the summer. And obviously there's a huge attraction between Ramona and Alessandro, but Margarita wants him for his own. So this is her seduction song.
So here's the lovely Amanda Robles.
Are you worried that God's going to smite you? I guess he could. Ven acá y háblame. Are you worried that I'm going to bite you? Good. You have places to go. You have people to see. I'm not trying to be a distraction. I just thought you should know you would not be a crime if we spent any time alone. Have a little wine with me, cross a little line with me, smoke a few cigars, wait for the stars to shine with me. Maybe when it's nice and dark, we could go for a stroll. Take me somewhere exciting and new and entirely hidden from you, and get a little sweet with me. Feel a little heat with me. Bare a little skin, dare to be indiscreet with me. Though I am sure you're an expert in foreign fauna, I promise you Chico or real Mexicana is quite a sight to see. So spend the night alone with me. You don't have to play nice. You don't have to play dumb. I'm just looking for some satisfaction. Do I have to ask twice? Do I have to explain? Can you not entertain a girl? And take a little leap with me, lose a little sleep with me. Give it all you got, 'cause you will not count cheap with me. Maybe you're afraid I'll break like some porcelain doll. But believe me, I've done this before, and Daddy, I'm ready for more. So it's a little tough with me, get rough with me, break a little sweat, go till you get enough with me. Maybe you're happy with plucking some marginal flower, but think of the one you can pluck for an hour or two, or even three. Just imagine you alone. Think what you can do alone. Just imagine you alone.
Woo!
What a performance.
For anybody wondering, that was that high E that she was belting at the end of the song.
Yes, she was.
And you should have seen the outtakes on Instagram.
Yeah,
For 3 a.m. outtakes.
that's true. She stayed up pretty late
Really
putting that
bizarre.
together. So Amanda, really, really appreciate it.
And I
It
actually
turned
got to
out
meet Amanda
beautifully.
because Eisenberg Bean's casting actually cast her in the presentation in February 2019. And that was my introduction to her. And she's done incredible things since then. Barrington Stage Company's Into the Woods. She's played Aldonza Dulcinea in a Kansas City production of Men of La Mancha. And she's just really a
And
special.
this show was your intro to her. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think we want to close with a wild card question. Do you think Helen Hunt Jackson would have wanted her story adapted into a musical?
Yes, I do, actually.
Why do you think that this story needs to be told as a musical? Why her, and why do you think she would have been so excited about this?
Well, I think it's important that the story is told in as many ways by as many people as possible. She wrote this story to call attention to the suffering of Native Americans at the hands of the U.S. government. She wrote this in 1884. And she tried to do that at first by writing a nonfiction book called A Century of Dishonor. It's a very dry read and it's just cataloging the atrocities. And then that didn't really capture the attention of the public in the way that she wanted. So then she wrote this epic romance, and the public was crazy for it. And it really did capture the public's attention and call attention to what was happening, especially in California, to the Native Americans. And so the book has been adapted many, many different times. It's been adapted into a play that was in 1923, and it's been running every year in California since, every summer. It's been adapted into 5 silent films, Spanish telenovela in 2000, and so I think Helen Hunt Jackson would want this story told just as much as possible for that activism aspect of it.
And I think it's living on more than I even realized by you just saying all that. And I think that's really cool. And I hope her estate is excited about that.
Certainly. And I think the time is now for Ramona, especially in our great country, which is basically a communal experiment in the communal engagement of every culture in the world. And I think really that's what part of the story is about. It's about home. It's about love. It's also about the invisible borders in our lives. And
it's about femininity. It's about, female empowerment. And I think, those are things that are so relevant, even if it's, it's a period piece in quotes, but it's really not.
Yeah, I think the most important question that the book asks is, can we coexist? And obviously we're still trying to figure that out as a country. But it's a really interesting question to ponder.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, I think
that's the truth.
I think we can coexist, and I think we can find peace. So thank you so much for your light and this beautiful work tonight. And we hope we see you soon in this show.
Absolutely. Thank you
see
so
you
much.
in Hell's Kitchen. Have a good night.
All right. Well, now on to the second half of our presentation, Johnny and the Devil's Box, which has a book, music, and lyrics by Douglas Waterbury Teeman.
Yes, Johnny and the Devil's Box is the new musical with 1 foot in the Georgia mountains and 1 foot in the Grand Ole Opry. The original musical follows Johnny Baker, the best fiddler that's ever been, until his boasting attracts the attention of another fiddler, the devil himself, who shows up with a plan for Johnny's destruction. With fame, fortune, and love tempting him at every turn, Johnny must find his true path and the strength to win a battle of the bows with the highest possible stakes. Johnny and the Devil's Box proclaims the immense power of music to heal broken communities when we put aside our pride and join hands in jubilant song and dance. Wow. I want to see that.
We definitely need a musical that proclaims the immense power of music to heal broken communities badly.
Both of those shows are about that tonight, sadly.
Or fortunate enough for us.
Yeah, not sadly. Yeah, no, we need it.
And now joining us from his home in Nashville is the writer of Johnny and the Devil's Box, Douglas Waterbury Teeman.
Hello.
So funny. I've said Johnny and the Devil's Box like 7,000 times in my life, and like 3 times tonight, I feel like I've made crazy mistakes. It's honestly, I'm just going to blame Scott Wasserman, and it's an inside joke, and it is what it is.
I love this is the second week in a row we've had 2 shows that kind of have had, without us realizing, like similar all around themes. And I think, today is about how we can make our world better. Last week was about, mothers and daughters. And I think it's really cool. And it speaks to the lengths of what musical theater can do.
I agree. And I'm honored to be in the same production here virtually as Ramona. A beautiful piece. I really enjoyed getting to see those incredible songs.
Well, I'm excited to talk with you about your Earthbound actor-driven show. You are a jack of all trades, an actor, singer, dancer, writer, and musician. If you could build this entire set and be the audience, you probably would. As an actor, you've been seen in the Drama Desk-nominated musical Sea Wife off-Broadway and regionally in shows like Once and so much more. You've been seen in the band of The Robber Bridegroom, The Bad Years, and other works around the country. We first met you when you joined The Lobbyists, and we were privileged to present excerpts from The Lobbyists' Sea Wife in our new work series. The Lobbyists are a fantastic theater collective of actor-musicians with an eclectic sound, drawing on roots, pop, and so many other source materials. As a writer, you explore complex moments through music and storytelling, and I immediately was a fan. NYTV's own Sam Strum insisted that we take a look at your work, specifically Johnny and the Devil's Box. And then we serendipitously met in an elevator where I told you that I was excited about your show, and the rest is history.
I remember that well.
How musical theater, like the theater community is so small, like that's how you meet people in an elevator.
That's exactly right.
It was so cool. It was like, wait, you're a part of the Lobbyists? I don't remember you. Oh, wait, Johnny and the Devil's Box? Oh my God, I'm about to send you an email.
In fact, I think we were in the middle also of an email conversation regarding New York Theater Barn, and then,
We
putting
were.
a face with the name happened there. That's New
You
York.
were. And Sea Wife was actually in NAMT at the time. And shout out to the
Right.
National for Musical Theater, which it's about to have its first
Coming up again.
virtual experience. And you know what? Honestly, I think it's going to be probably the biggest success it's ever been because
Really
it gets to be global. So it for the first time, it was always sort of an exclusive thing, but now it's sort of both exclusive and inclusive. If that can be a thing.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest win for musical theater right now in theater development, for sure.
Absolutely.
Totally. As I mentioned earlier, Johnny and the Devil's Box was featured in our live Newark series at the Asylum Theater in February of this year before the pandemic. So here's a short clip of that presentation. Take a look.
Whippoorwill, 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 sing until whippoorwill, my love returns to me. And endure the light, like sweetest stars after losing your sky, like the song of a whippoorwill, deep in the I can hear that little whippoorwill calling on her, crying out her lonesome melody. And lie awake all through the night, wonder when you're coming back to make it right. Darling, why did you prove false to me? Spread my wings and start to sing when I hear your lovely song.
May not be what you want to hear, but I cannot tell a lie.
I feel like we're always going to hold that new work series really like hard in our heart because that was the last one we did before the world shut down.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, it's the last thing I did.
That's like a lot of us did.
It was so special. It was also so special to see Annabelle Fox watching from backstage. And so before we meet the amazing Annabelle and some other members of the creative team, how did you begin writing and what sparked your imagination to write a show that lives so much in the worlds of epic and folklorian?
Wow, what a great question. I've always been a fiddle player, and I've always been really taken with the instrument and all of the history that surrounds it. I guess that's kind of where it starts. The fiddle that I played belonged to my great-grandfather, and I don't know, I've always had sort of an epic sense of folk music and in my connection via my family to that music. And I've always wanted to see music that is near and dear to my heart, bluegrass music, folk music, country music, represented on a musical theater stage in an authentic way. And because that was the other great love of my life growing up was musical theater. I started playing violin and performing on stage in the fourth grade the same year. And so that was at the very beginning, nascent stages of, wanting to put those two things together. And I've been sort of hacking my way through it ever since. But for Johnny specifically, it was actually an open mic night here in Nashville at the Station Inn when I sang one of my, I don't know, can I say signature songs, Blue Moon of Kentucky? It's one of the ones that I love to play. And afterwards was approached by a Nashville guy here. He said, I like what you're doing. You ought to do something with it. And I said, well, I've got this idea for a musical about a fiddle player and the devil, and I think it's a story that's been told for many, many generations, years, decades, centuries. Would love to figure out a way to put it on stage. And he said, you should do it. So that was very much the permission I needed to just start writing, and I've had an incredible journey ever since. From writers retreats at the Goodspeed Opera House, part of the Johnny Mercer Writers Colony, to developmental productions at Belmont University and concerts at Rockwood Music Hall, and working with you at New York Theater Barn being sort of the last thing. And so now we're working to bring some of the music into a professionally recorded realm. I was really impressed with Ramona's tracks that we just heard, and I would love to have something that is similar to that. It just really allows a listener to get a sense of the world. So that's sort of where we've been and where we are now.
Well, we do have a record label now for musicals in development, so that's
Well,
a thing.
I just bought this microphone, so maybe we'll be in business.
Well, to continue chatting more about the show, we want to welcome music supervisor Scott Wasserman, dramaturg Anita Chapin, and last but not least, your amazing collaborator and wife, we have Abigail. Or Abigail, no, not Annabelle. Abigail Spencer.
You're not the first one to do that.
I think we did that this weekend too.
You'll understand why we say Annabelle or Abigail
all the time.
When I wrote it, I thought, nobody will ever read this.
Not obvious at all.
Before we move on, I just wanted to note that it made me a little misty-eyed to hear you say that your violin is your grandfather's.
Yeah.
It sort of deepens everything.
So I know you touched on most of it, but the development path of your show, you said, was at Johnny Mercer. It was here at the Theater Barn. Where then Goodspeed? Where else has the show been?
We were part of dance. Well, it was actually a director's piece at the Drama League, and we worked on dance there in 2017.
The Drama League has an incredible program called the Drama League's Rough Draft Residency.
Yeah, exactly.
We've also
did a workshop at Studio 10.
Yeah, thank you.
29-hour reading.
I'm so glad she's here. And we were gearing up in 2024 a workshop production at Goodspeed as part of their new development, new light spotlight series.
Work light series, actually, but
Work light series.
I was going to say Goodspeed. I've never heard of it. I'm excited. No more.
it was ready to launch, and then it just COVID happened. So, alas.
Now, Annika, tell us more about the collaboration with Goodspeed. I know you're so excited to present the show when we can actually gather again.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, this is just a good example of, I think Douglas actually was at Goodspeed before I was even there, right? The first time you were there was in 2017. Yeah. So, but it was something that, you know, we have a partnership with Johnny Mercer Foundation to present what was called the Mercer Colony. Now we've changed the name to the Mercer Grove, which is a really great writers retreat where all these different writers work together or work on their separate things, but then can share with each other. And, you know, I think the moment this show became a thing in existence, Goodspeed was pretty excited about it. So, basically when that happens and when we identify a show and a writer like Douglas, you know, we're trying to give it as much help as we could give it in terms of coming back to the Mercer Colony. You did a residency during the Festival of New Musicals. And it was funny because actually, you know, we do this festival in January, February under normal circumstances where we do 3 shows over the course of a whole weekend, Friday, Saturday night, and then Sunday, and we do cabarets afterwards. And so everybody's tired. It's winter. You know, usually the cabarets are pretty short and everybody is excited to go home and drive on the icy roads and everything like that. And I mean, it was crazy when they performed because the audience, I think they would have stayed there until 3:30 a.m. I mean, it was the nutsiest thing. There was just like such energy in the room. And so that confirmed what we already knew, which was that it was a deeply special show. And yeah, we were going to launch this new program with it. And, you know, the last day basically before Broadway shut down was like the last day of audition. So I think for me too, this show is very much like, it was right at the brink of the, like, what's happening? And, you know, we hope, we don't know, like many theaters in America, we don't really know what the future holds, but I know that we do love this show, and it's been in conversations about, could we put it in a tent outside? Could we do it on this? Could we do it that way? You know, so hopefully it'll be on our stage in some way at some point.
And what has it been like to be a dramaturg for this show? I know it must be so specific.
It's a really great one. I personally am a big fan. I love folklore stories. I love the kind of intersection of contemporary theater and folkloric origins. And this one has so much going for it in terms of like a Faustian bargain tale, just this sort of deep history of Appalachia and the mountains. And it's been a joy to work on it. And also, I mean, Douglas is such a diva and a jerk that, as you can see, it's really been a challenge because, you know, he just pushes back on everything. But no,
I
it's
want to work with him.
yeah, it's really been a great fun. And I got to go down to Nashville and be there for the reading and make a surprise appearance in the reading when a cast member had to drop out. So
But we wanted to give you a taste of what the show will look like fully realized. So here is a little clip of Johnny's Best with full choreography by your amazing choreographer, Jennifer.
Devil in hell can fiddle it well, but he ain't got nothing on me. Mama named me Johnny, Daddy called me John. The day they died, I never cried. I knew I had to travel on. Down the road, I gotta get along down the road. Down the road, I play a fancy free. So the devil in hell can fiddle well, but he ain't got nothing on me.
Ooh, the smoke on that fiddle.
Yes. So Scott, tell us more about the music of this show. Why does it add to the epicness so much?
Yes. Well, you can't help but have a good time when you're listening to bluegrass music. And they always say that you should write what you know. And this music is what Douglas knows intimately. And, you know, my job as the music supervisor on the show has been to really just take what's already in Douglas's head and realize it out on the stage, right? My favorite thing about developing any new musical, working with any composer, is just being able to get into the mind of the composer and into the genre as deep as I can. And bluegrass is something that I've always been a fan of, but haven't really gotten a chance to learn until I've started collaborating with Douglas on this show. And it's been so cool to understand the difference between competition style fiddling and old-timey fiddling and different styles of banjo playing. And, you know, it is epic in its own right as a genre. And there's so much history to it. I think that's the one thing that really makes it the most exciting musical form to bring the story to life, is that inherent in the music is folklore. So to put it onto a story about folklore and different characters that are represented in different bluegrass styles from different regions of the South is really amazing.
it's just so fun. The show is such fun to work on and to listen to. It's the best.
It's also so fun, you know, just watching Douglas and like a band of players just get up and jam out to the songs. It's so inspiring. It's like, oh my God, why am I not there? Oh wait, I am here. It's like a party you want to be at.
It is a party, yeah. And I think the other thing that makes this show stand out from other shows I've worked on is that usually in musical theater, you're writing down every note for every instrument, telling everyone exactly what to play when. This genre and this show is something where you can say, all right, team, let's get together. All of your ideas are great. Go. You know, it's so fun.
It's kind of literally like, you know, you're going as you go and making something. And I think that's what makes the show so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% collaborative.
So I think let's put up our first song. So I think Douglas and Annabelle, tell us about our first song.
Oh, is the first song mine?
Abigail's.
Oh, we're doing Abigail's somewhere. So Abigail's song is Abigail's "I Want" song, I would call it. She sort of starts out as like this caged bird. I like to describe her. She's had a really sheltered life. And in this song, Douglas has so beautifully written this journey that she sort of goes on of discovery. And it's sort of the first time we see her sort of fighting, you know, the only life that she's known, and sort of exploring, you know, going past that, like what's beyond what she knows. And she finds Johnny at the end of her song, and so
she finds the music. The music is what's important.
The music
Johnny
leads her to Johnny. Yeah.
So here's Annabelle Fox singing Abigail's song.
I was taught that the world is fraught with dangers and what strangers do, 'cause I'm not sure they're
and it lingers like fingers unfastened in chains that were locked. And I don't even know what to say anymore, and I don't think I know how to pray anymore. There's an ache in my soul, I can't stay anymore. What am I missing? I was told that when I grew older I'd find a man of a kind to follow in step and let go. We've only met for a moment. You've opened the path I will forge to your side, and I don't know which way I should turn anymore, and I don't believe half what I've learned anymore. I have never felt this kind of yearning before. What am I missing? La, la. Mama, why would Daddy ever talk about you? Mama, why'd we have to live without you? Mama, what does he fear? I know that often you hear of a faith that my soul was made for much more than life behind doors, safe and sound and alone. My bones ache inside to roam the horizon, then rise in the morning, my true love and I. And I don't know which way I should turn anymore, and I don't believe half what I've learned anymore. I have never felt this kind of yearning before. What am I missing? La, la, la. What am I missing? La, 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 la.
That bird. That bird was a star.
Star, you know.
Expert whistling from Douglas.
Oh, thanks. I practice a lot. I did want to say that video came from a production we did actually over the summer in quarantine. That was part of Oslo's Ground Floor series, directed.
There's the bird now.
Oh,
Oh,
what is
sorry,
it?
that's my cat. I apologize.
Wait, did something go wrong?
Is your cat auditioning to play the bird?
Directed by Celine Rosenthal. Sorry.
Yeah, he saw Cats on HBO. Now he thinks he can do anything. So.
How angelical of him. All right. Well, tell us about the second song, The Devil's Dream, which is going to be a live presentation.
That's right. So this next song, as I mentioned, the devil is a character. And maybe I didn't mention it, but the devil is personified in this show as a fiddle player. And there are many myths and legends about the devil playing the violin. And what I decided to do with this piece is sort of meld together that idea with the idea of Lucifer or the devil as a fallen angel. So the show actually starts at the beginning of time with God creating the universe as a banjo player in a rocking chair, and he picks his banjo and the world comes into existence. So he picks the sun up in the morning and the moon up in the night, and then he decides he needs a band to help him out. So he gets his angel band, and it's Michael on the mandolin, Gabriel on the guitar, Lucifer on the fiddle, and they continue to play and make music, and eventually God decides he needs dancers, so he creates these dancers that are ostensibly Adam and Eve, and eventually the devil gets jealous. Lucifer gets jealous, and he, because of his pride, ends up in hell. So and subsequently, now however many millennia, whatever later, now sees Johnny, this fiddle player that represents everything that he wants to be and wants to have, and he's coming up with a way to bring Johnny down and end music on Earth forever. So this is The Devil's Dream.
Take it away.
I wake up each night from a beautiful dream. Back to the time when the music I made was part of a band that was part of a plan. Now this nightmare I wake to enshrouds me. That boy who plays the fiddle, he plays it all too well. He makes a mockery of me, so I will send him straight to hell. I will not abide it, no, I will not let it stand. I tempt him and I test him till I make you understand that I play. Yeah, I still play this fiddle to persuade you of my near and risen day, and he'll pay. Yes, he will pay. In God's image he may be, but I will claim his soul for me. That boy could be the answer to end my waking dream. If I can just debaucherize him, it'll be my greatest scheme. I'll join with his opponents, destroy all he adores. I'll beat him and I'll best him till his music is no more, and I'll play. And then he'll be mine, and I'll hold him right up in God's face and say, look what he's done, what a dreadful disgrace. There ain't nothing here but some dust, dirt, and bone. Now ain't you sorry? Now don't you see? It was your own damn fault when you left me alone. Let me play, let me play, let me back in the band when the man goes astray, and you'll finally say, in my image he may be, but Lou, come on back and play for me. I think I smacked the microphone on the end there, but thanks.
That's fine.
That was so cool to see you perform that song just solo fiddle and voice like that. Usually we've had some kind of band accompanying it, but I love the idea of the devil just taking it solo, you know?
I don't mind that a bit.
Very cool. And speaking of the devil, we have Faustian musical adaptations like Randy Newman's Faust, Little Shop of Horrors, and Damn Yankees. What makes this sort of Faust-inspired musical different?
I think in terms of the other musical specifically, it's because it's about music. I think that definitely gives it a specificity because it's dealing with, we can use good and evil if we want to, but really what the devil is sort of interested in this story is music and silence of the world, and what he's trying to do is get that music back for himself, and to do that he has to get that fiddle away from Johnny, because Johnny represents the possibility of dancing and jubilation and humans' ability to just be in community and with each other, in rhythm and in harmony, and that ultimately that's what drives out the devil, is when everyone comes together to Johnny's music to dance. And the devil's trying to make sure that he's trying to rip those two things apart, the dance and the music. And so that's specifically, it's a little more about the community, so to speak. Johnny represents the community in his sort of dealings with the devil, whereas in a lot of the other stories, it usually is just sort of about the main person's soul and whether or not they will be saved. But this has a bit more of a community-wide implication. So that plus the music, I'd say.
Beautiful. And honestly, it's frighteningly familiar and allegorical. And again, it leads us back to Nevada.
Nevada, the state of Nevada.
Nevada, the state.
Both.
Nevada, the state of mind.
Both.
And Nevada,
the brilliant composer.
Anyway, thank you so much for the answer to that question. That was beautiful. Thank you, Annika, Scott, Douglas, and Annabelle. We can't wait to see more from Johnny and the Devil's Box.
Thank you to Scott's cat as well.
Thank you. Thank you. His name is Hudson.
Miss Hudson.
We'll see you guys soon, hopefully in person.
Love it.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for
Have
having
a good
us.
night, guys.
I wonder if Scott's cat is friends with Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser.
Ooh, maybe.
They were a notorious couple of cats. I mean, I'm just saying. All right, well, that's our show for tonight. The last few months have been a marathon, and we will be taking next week off to recharge. We will be back in 2 weeks on Wednesday, November 18th at 7 p.m. with the new musicals Broken Ground and It Came from Outer Space.
Yes, Broken Ground is written by Christine Toy Johnson and Jason Ma, and It Came from Outer Space is written by Kellen Blair and Joe Kanosian, and they're the celebrated writers of Murder for Two, which is a show we love. And we are thrilled to welcome all 4 of these writers back into the New York Theater Barn fold, as they all have developed shows with us in the past. So that's going to be really exciting for 2 weeks from now.
That's right. And I love Kellen and Joe's two-hander, Murder for Two, so I can't wait to see what they write. And also Christine Toy Johnson, you know, she's an incredible writer, and she's currently in the national tour of Come From Away. And I got to watch her growing up as Sister Mary, I believe Sister Mary Leo, in the Nonsense videos with Rue McClanahan. So by the way, everybody, it takes an incredible amount of work to make tonight's show happen. And in order to continue to lift up artists and original musicals, we really need your help. So please join our generous donors by making your gift today on our website at nytheaterbarn.org/give.
Again, that link is nytheaterbarn.org/give. We want to thank you for tuning in tonight. And, we want to get the elephant in the room. There's a lot going on right now, and we're really glad you could join us tonight. And we just have to keep being patient and waiting, and hopefully we're going to have an answer to what we're waiting for soon.
Totally. So thank you for supporting live theater tonight, and I hope your world is blue, just covered in blue. Blue everywhere, drowning in blue.
Someone said, make it blue like the end of Sleeping Beauty. Make it blue. Thank you, and we will see you soon. Good night.
Started off at Theater Barn before anybody was doing anything with our work. So I think we had Jeremy Jordan do a song at a Theater Barn concert, and that really launched a lot for us. So I feel like we're all in it together. So thank you to you guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us. Thanks for having the show.
So thank you so much, Joe and Jen, for having us today. We really love coming on here. It's a really special thing right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. We love New York Theater Barn.
We do.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having us, Jen and Joe. Thank you, New York Theater Barn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Especially when we have amazing theaters and platforms like you all, lifting us up. So, hey.
So we're just kind of looking towards the future, and you guys are so great for giving us this opportunity to let other ears hear us. So I'm very excited.
Hi, I'm Taylor Louderman.
I'm Ben Rahula.
And we are the co-creators of the Write Out Loud Songwriting Contest.
And thank you again, New York Theater Barn, for supporting new theater writers and new writers everywhere.